Hi lovelies! Today I am sharing two delicious desserts in honor of two of my very favorite holidays, Canada Day and the 4th of July. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I am both Canadian and American, so I get to celebrate both of these awesome holidays. How lucky am I? And since Canada Day comes up first on July 1st, we're going to get started with a classic Canadian dessert, the butter tart. The Canadian in me has wanted to share this recipe with you guys forever. So butter tarts are found in Canada, but pretty much nowhere else in the world as I understand it, which I didn't know for most of my life. Trust me, if you've never tried butter tarts before, you are in for a serious treat. And if it inspires you to get into the kitchen and try it, well, all the butter. Tart. Come on. This is a whole lot of sweetness happening in these tarts, and it starts with some beautiful brown sugar. I am also using some corn syrup in this recipe. Then I am going to add some butter to this, of course. It's a butter tart. I've got a little splash of vanilla extract headed in here, and also just a small splash of vinegar, which may sound like a strange ingredient, but it actually just adds a touch of tartness to help all of that sweetness come out. We're also going to add 2 eggs. That's gonna give us the body we need to get these to set up and firm up a little bit. And then it's just a matter of whisking all of this up until it is well combined. I know, it's not exactly good for you, but let me tell you, we Canadians are onto something here. They're delicious. Now that my filling is all set, I'm going to turn my attention to my crust. As you can see, I am using store-bought pie crust. Call me a cheater if you must, but the fact is, come summertime, I don't want to spend a lot of extra time in the kitchen, so store-bought pie crusts are great. If you want to make your own pie crust, not to worry, I have a recipe for that on the channel. I'll link it in the description box below. I'm taking my traditional pie crust and using a large round cookie cutter to cut myself 6 rounds. Then with my leftover pie crust, I'm also going to create some beautiful little decorations for my butter tarts in the form of some maple leaves. Of course, we're celebrating Canada Day, and it wouldn't be a Canada Day celebration without a whole lot of maple leaf. Once I've got everything cut out, it is time to build my tart shells. Now I'm going to do this simply by pressing my pie crust rounds into the cups of my muffin tin. The best part about butter tarts is that they're meant to look rustic and old-fashioned, so you don't have to be fussy about this. You can fold the edges over, make everything a little messy, and it still is going to taste incredibly delicious. Once I've got those tart shells ready, we are going to add our filling to these. I'm just using a measuring cup to make sure I get equal filling in each of my tart shells. I'm going to fill them 3/4 of the way full and then get them into the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for between 17 and 20 minutes. You'll see that they'll start to puff up on top because of that egg and also get nice and golden around the edges. That's how you know that they're done. Once they come out of the oven, you'll need to let them cool completely before enjoying them. While those are cooling, I'm going to go ahead and bake my little pie crust maple leaves. To get these noble maple leaves ready for baking, I have just brushed these with a little bit of egg wash. If you're not familiar with egg wash, it's basically just 1 egg that's been beaten, and I just apply it with a pastry brush. It helps to make everything a little more golden. Then I am going to sprinkle them with some sugar because, you know, there isn't enough sugar in the butter tarts already. I'm going to get them into the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for between 7 and 10 minutes. You don't want to burn them, so keep a close eye on them. Then you can just place one of those adorable maple leaves on top of each tart, and you have an awesome way to celebrate Canada Day. Really doesn't get much better than this, does it? Eh? Next, for all of you south of the border celebrating the 4th of July, I am making my very, very 4th of July pie for you. I am starting once again by mixing up my filling first, which, as you can see, is a total nod to the red, white, and blue. For this pie, I am using a combination of strawberries, raspberries, and blueberries. You could also throw in some blackberries or cherries if you had some of those on hand. All berries are welcome in this pie. Next, I'm going to add some sweetness with some granulated sugar. And then to help this get nice and thick and syrupy and delicious, I'm also adding some cornstarch to this. For my final step, I am going to be adding just a squeeze of lemon juice to this. This is gonna help brighten everything up. Just adds a little bit of freshness and acidity to the whole dish. And it's as simple as that, guys. I know, you're now wondering why you're not making pie every day at home. We're just going to use a spoon to toss this all together and make sure that that fruit is well coated in that cornstarch and sugar mixture. Once that's all mixed together, we can set it aside and get to work on preparing our pie shell, or in this case, our tart shell. Now, even though I am calling this delicious dessert my 4th of July pie, I am actually going to be making it in a tart pan. I know. But what I love about tart pans is that they have a removable bottom, which makes them so much easier to manage. If you don't have a tart pan like this, no problem at all. You could definitely do this in a traditional pie dish as well. Either will work. Now, once again, I am using a store-bought pie crust. I'm just going to lay it out into my tart tin and press it down into the bottom and of course up the sides. Then I'll just remove the excess from around the sides and set it aside while I get to work on creating my stars and stripes, which I really think are the stars and stripes of this pie. To make my stripes, I'm just going to use a pizza cutter and cut my pie crust into nice thin strips. Once I've got my stripes complete, I'll use the rest of my pie crust, because I don't want to waste any, to create my pretty stars. And now it is time to bring this all together. We are just going to transfer this filling right into our tart shell, like so. To decorate the top of my pie, I'm just going to lay my stripes out in strips, keeping about a ½ inch distance in between them. Then I'll remove the excess from around the sides and brush these with a little bit of egg wash. It helps to make everything a little more golden, and it's going to help our star design stick onto our pie. I'm going to arrange my lovely stars all over the top of this, top them with a little more egg wash, and then sprinkle the entire top with some sugar. Guys, are you kidding me? That is one patriotic pie. We'll get this into the oven at 350 degrees for between 1 hour and 1 hour and 15 minutes. You'll want to keep a close eye on your pie crust. If you see it starting to get too brown too soon, go ahead and put a piece of foil over top. That will prevent it from burning. And when it comes out of the oven, it is unbelievably ooey gooey and golden. I can't think of a better way to celebrate the 4th of July. I hope no matter where you live, you will give both of these delicious recipes a try, because they are both super tasty. If you do, be sure to tweet me, Instagram me, or Snapchat me a photo, because I always love seeing your kitchen creations. Keep in mind that the full recipes are in the description box below, and be sure to subscribe, because there is lots more deliciousness where this came from. Happy Canada Day and happy 4th of July to all of you.